Hey guys, Billy here, a multi-gladiator hunter and a shuffle rank 1. Today I have a solo shuffle gameplay where I went 6-0 with commentary of what I'm doing and why, just to give you a little insight into how I think when I play the game. So like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed, and if you didn't enjoy, well pretend you did. Let me know what else you want to see in the comments and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so this shuffle I'm going to be facing a Feral, Unholy DK, Devastation as the DPS, and then the healers are a Preservation and a Resto Druid. So against the resto druid, in general, you want to cleave so that you force him to put hearts on multiple targets. This makes it much more hard for them and they'll oom a lot quicker. So I wanted to wait for the hots to go off on the dev, but they started doing damage on my prez, so we had to open. Feral stuns the DK, he AMSs and trinkets. I pet stun trap the healer, and we're doing damage to the Deva. He just popped cooldowns here and we get a stun on him, so he's not actually able to get that much utility out of his cooldowns. He walls, and I'm just doing my regular damage rotation here. And I swapped to the Resto Druid just because he's getting a little bit low due to passive feral damage and cleave. Put a silence on him, and I'm trying to force his trinket here. I don't manage it, but then he does use his bark skin. So now swapping back to the devastation, we get a sleepwalk on him for some reason. I get a full trap on the druid, and now the devastation is pretty low, and the Resto Druid decides to trinket here. My feral stuns the nullifying shroud so that we can still get CC onto the Deva, and he uses bash for the second stun. I don't have kick here, so he does get the nullifying shroud off. The druid uses trank, which means I can't CC him. However, I do have scatter off cooldown, so as soon as he leads the trank, I want to scatter him on his next cast, but the Deva dies, so I don't even need to do that. This round, I am with the DK and the rest of the druid, and we're against the Prez, Deva, and the Feral. So the main target is going to be the devastation. However, we will hit the Feral just to try and force the Prez to use cooldowns on him as well. And you can even hit the Prez. Like all three are fairly viable targets here. I want to try and stop the nullifying, but I wasn't able to. And now just doing damage onto the devastation. So setting cooldowns here and doing big damage. The Feral comes to me, so I'm just hitting him a little bit as well, and mainly focusing on the Deva with the big dam. So Deva gets gripped away with the shield, but he's still dying actually, so we're just doing damage to him. I dispel on cooldown, and the Deva drops very, very low, and this forces the Deva to use his wall, and the preservation to use some cooldowns on him as well. I'm using a tranquilizing shot on cooldown just to try and purge as much as I can. I go back and scatter the Feral because my Resto Druid is dropping a bit. I don't really want him to die because that would be quite sad. We'd lose the round. Get a full trap onto the Prez, and this forces his trinket. And now the Deva is still pretty low. I put a binding shot to stun him. Binding is really good with DK because you don't really have that much single target stuns. The DK does a blinding on to the Prez. I silence him as well, and this interrupts his Spirit Bloom cast. The Deva is now flying, and he's still very, very, very low. Like, they're not really able to top him. We get a time dilation. The Evoker is now using a Dream Breath, and the Deva is just trying to kite a little bit. I'm sticking on him because I'm not really scared of dying at the moment because I've got cooldowns still. I've still got Turtle and I've got Ross. I use Scatter onto the Prez here. This is the only time in the game where I felt a little bit scared, but my Resto Druid had me because he's not in CC. And here, because the Deva is so low, I decide not to Turtle and just to kill, and we are able to land the kill, so we win the round here. So for this third round, I am with the Resto Druid and the Deva, and we're against the Feral, Unholy, and the Prez. Our main target is going to be the Feral, just because with a Deva, it's much easier to kill a Feral because he won't have AMS all of the time. And if you hit a Feral, then they can't really stay in cat form as much, so they'll do less damage, less clones. So in general, a Feral is a very good target to go. I can't see the preservation yet, just due to the nullifying shroud. I use Beast of Ra to get my pet out of CC so that I can rust myself, and then I feign death just to avoid quite a lot of the damage coming out. And now I'm sending damage onto the Evoker, onto the Feral, sorry. And I see my devastation has just used his burst as well, so I know that we'll do quite a lot of damage here. As soon as the shroud wears off from the Evoker, I use my pet stun into trap. However, it does break. I should have played Diamond Ice with this. I just forgot to spec it. So now we are attacking the Feral, just getting him low. Use my silence on the Evoker just so he can't cast spells. He can still do some stuff like rescue, but it is annoying when they get silenced. Feral procs frenzied regen, and we get a silence onto the preservation. I'm able to scatter out of this into a trap, The reason I use scatter instead of just trapping straight away is that I didn't want him to just trinket the full trap, so now he had to choose between either sitting the scatter or sitting the half trap, and this gave us enough time to land the kill. For this round, I'm with the Feral and we're against the Unholy with the Devastation. Our main target is the Devastation just because we think that he's going to die a little bit easier. He's got Nullifying Shrouds up, so I'm happy to wait as long as we can. Feral open, so I open as well, and I'm just cleaving onto the Devastation and the Prez. The reason for this is the lower the health of the Prez, the less healing that they do. I'm not even going into Trap at the moment, just due to the fact they have Shrouds, so I can't get any CC anyway. The Devastation has now popped Dragon Rage, and how Dragon Rage works is it gets extended whenever he casts an empowered spell. So it's very important that if you see Dragon Rage almost ending, try and interrupt a Fire Breath or a Eternity Surge. And this will make it so that he can't extend the Dragon Rage and makes it a lot less scary. Here I missed the trap because I was too slow following up from the Feral CC. But it's not the end of the world. You don't really need as much CC in Shuffle at the moment just due to how high the damage of jungle is. Now I've rooted the Preservation, and roots annoy Prez a lot because they can't rescue and can't bite and embrace, which is a lot of their healing. And the Prez isn't able to top the Deva here, so we are able to land a kill and thus win the round. So this round I'm with the Devastation again, and we're against the Feral and the Unholy DK with the Resto Druid. This should be slightly easier because both dragons, whenever they Fire Breath, they remove hots from the targets, and with Purge as well, this makes us really strong against Resto Druid. So the DK instantly pops AMS, but it doesn't really matter because we're not going to focus him. I'm going to be focusing the Feral this game, and we see that he's popped Part Skin, but that doesn't really matter that much, and I'm just sending damage into it. I'm purging on cooldown, and it's very important. I use Exil to heal the pet just so it doesn't die. It's very important to make sure your pet stays alive because you lose a lot of damage, and it can be difficult to res it afterwards, even though you can't be interrupted. And in general, my position, I just want to be close to the Resto Druid. The reason for this is that it makes it much easier to get traps, and you don't really need to be near the Feral to do your damage anyway. And if you are near the Feral, then he's going to be cleaving you as well. The reason I scattered here is because I thought we'd get an extra cooldown from them, but we didn't, so that wasn't actually a very useful scatter. And now I've trinketed the bash just to keep up pressure on the Feral. I kicked the Feral as well, and I feigned death the clone that the Resto Druid is casting on me, and because he was casting that clone, he wasn't actually able to heal the Feral, and therefore the Feral dies here. The reason I offensively trinketed bash there was because we had a lot of pressure and they weren't really targeting me anyway, so I knew I wasn't a kill target, and I knew that we would be able to kill there if we kept the pressure up. So in Shuffle especially, it can be quite good to offensively trinket, especially if you think you're going to be able to force a kill or keep their enemy healer behind. So here for this last round, I'm with the Unholy DK again, and I'm against the Feral and the Devastation. So we are going to be killing the Feral here just because we want to keep him out of cat form so that he's doing as least damage as he can, as Feral can do quite a lot of damage, especially against DK because of all the cleave, and then they get extra damage with their bites. So now I'm just doing damage to both, cleaving a bit to force the Resto Druid to use his hots on both targets. We get a Barkskin here, the Feral Wall, and the Ironbark, and the Tranquility. So at this point we're in a very strong position. I get stunned and trinket offensively again, and I see that the DK strangs the Druid. I use my stun as well, and use Scatter on the Devastation to stop the rescue, and I'm just doing damage onto the Feral. My Roar of Sacrifice here wasn't that useful, but I just wanted to get it on cooldown for the next set of burst. And now I'm just doing damage onto the Feral whilst trying to line the Devastation Evoker. The reason I want to line the Deva is because he's still doing a lot of damage outside of his burst, and I just need to try and get to the Druid so that I can get a trap. The Feral is fairly healthy at the moment with full hots, but as soon as I land the trap on the Resto Druid, they don't have any trinket now. I get Sleptwalked, but my healer dispels it. The Feral is dropping very low, the Resto Druid still doesn't have trinket, and is still in the trap, so we are able to land a kill on the Feral here. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments if you thought the commentary was good, or if you have any improvements for me. So yeah, thanks again, and have a great day. Peace out.